Good afternoon and welcome. Glad you could make it today. So let's just get started. Today we're talking about your digital legacy, and I'm calling this part one because there are other parts to it that we will talk about on a later date. So this is Go for Lunch for March 21st, 2023, brought to you by GoFor Technology. I'm Roger Harmon, your host, and we are here, as always, to make your technology work for you. So this episode is in memory of Sherman Weitzman. Sherm passed away Friday, and he was a friend, a client, and a longtime member of the Tucson Macintosh user group. So, Sherm, rest in peace. So, digital legacy. Much of our life's records and memories now are in digital form. So things like passwords, financial accounts, photos and videos, and tax records are all digitized now. So as we know, there's two certain things in life: death and taxes. So when you pass, you want to make sure that you have all your records and everything set up so that your heirs can access them with minimum stress. So you need to establish procedures now if you haven't already, or you need to create or refine the systems that you already have. So you want to make the information readily available to those that are going to manage your estate. And it's a good idea to include someone in addition to your spouse that has this information, and of course it's a good idea to have a younger person have this information. So one thing that I've come across that you don't want to do is make sure you tell your executors not to immediately discontinue your iPhone service, because you need that for two-factor authentication. So on your Apple ID and other accounts such as Google, they're going to need that iPhone so that you can do the two-factor authentication. So hang on to that iPhone until you're sure you've got all the data that you need from those accounts. So there's several things that Apple has set up to help with this. You can add a recovery contact. Of course, that's something you should do now in case you lose your Apple ID. You can also establish a recovery key, and actually this is an or. You either do a recovery contact or a recovery key. And then you can also add a legacy contact, and we will talk about why that may not be the best idea. So let's go to our settings. Now I'm using Ventura. So it is called settings and not system preferences. And let me get that popped up here for you. There we go. Okay, so when you're in settings, you're going to go to your name, which is your Apple ID information. And then you're going to go to password and security. And then here are the settings that you're going to be involved in. Now, a little note, we're still not recommending you go to Ventura. When I was rehearsing this morning, this page completely disappeared on me, and I had to back out of it and go back in. So there's still some problems with Ventura. So we always recommend you wait till the .3 version, which is not out yet. So let's get down here. So here we have account recovery. So that's if you forgot your password or your device passcode. You have a few options to recover your data. So you click on Manage, and then you can either have a recovery contact that can generate a code from their Apple device. So they'll need to have an Apple device, and they need to have a recent operating system. On the iPhone, it's 15.2 or later, and I believe it is Monterey or later on Mac OS. So you would just click the plus key here, and then you get a little reminder that you need to choose a family or family member or friend to add to the recovery contact. And this should be a person that's at least 13 years age. Then you can you either use the phone or be in person with this person to recover your password. And that'll help you get back into your account. So then you would click here, and then you would need to enter your password. For your Apple ID. So we're going to back out of that. And we're going to look at recovery key down here. So recovery key is a 25 or 28 character code that you need to keep in a safe place. Print it out, or you can put it in a note in the Notes app and password protect it. So here you would click on Manage, and then you would turn it on. I'm not going to turn it on because I don't want my recovery key to be public. Okay, so now we click on Done to get out of there. And then we have the Legecy contact. Again, you would click on Manage, and that Legecy contact can access and download data from your account after your demise, and that stays available for a period of 3 years. So the reason you may not want to do the Legecy contact is that certain information like movies, music, books, or subscriptions you purchased with your Apple ID and data stored on your keychain, like payment information, passwords, and pass keys, cannot be accessed by your Legecy contact. So the best way to handle this would be to have your executor have your Apple ID password, and then they can access the account just as you would. And then they would have access to all that information that a Legecy contact would not have access to. So that's why I don't necessarily recommend a Legecy contact. Also, they need to submit a death certificate to Apple, and it takes a few days. So maybe not the best answer. Password managers, you've heard a lot about password managers, and we've talked about it before. 1Password is the one that I use and recommend. If you want to brush up on how 1Password works, you can go to GoFor Lunch number 37, and we had a little audio problem on that one, so just scrub to 11 minutes and 45 seconds into the program, and you'll get past that audio program or that audio difficulty. Keychain access is another way to manage your passwords. On the Mac, it's a little messy because it has a lot of information that is kind of gobbledygook in there. Plus, when you want to see a password, you have to enter your Mac admin password every time. So it's a lot easier to access that on your iPhone, and we can look at that. So here we go. I might have to lean forward here to get Face ID to work. There we go. So I'm going to use the stylus here so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to go to Settings. And then we're going to scroll down here to Passwords. So you can see it's in this section here, Passwords. then it uses Face ID, and then you have all your passwords listed, and you can just click on here. I'm not going to click on here with the dots, but if I click on the dots, it actually will reveal the password for me. So a lot easier to access Keychain on your iOS device. And you can also well, I was trying to find the so this is autofill, where you want to autofill your passwords. You have to select Chrome, which we don't recommend using Chrome, and ExpressVPN, and that's not working, so we won't worry about that right now. And so also they're doing some checking here. You see the red exclamation point says that there's some passwords that need to be changed, and some breaches that need to breaches of websites where you need to change those passwords as well. So that's the way that keychain access can be handled on your iOS devices. So there are other password managers besides 1Password. We do not recommend LastPass because they have been breached several times now. So we've crossed that one off the list here. We have 1Password, Dashlane, Bitwarden, which is the low-cost leader at the moment, RoboForm, Sticky Password, and Keeper. I haven't used these three, so I don't know anything about them. But here's a matrix of the features. You see here that 1Password has additional encryption protection by using a secret key. Nobody else has that. They also have a secure travel mode. So if you're in a situation where you're traveling, you're crossing a border into a foreign country or coming back, you may want to disable 1Password so that they cannot see your passwords, and then you can re-enable it when you get back home. Most of them, or all of them, have a secure password generator and autofill of passwords. A couple of them don't have encrypted file storage, and there's some more features here that didn't fit on the page. So password managers work by providing you have a master password which you use to get into it, and that you would also give to your family members so that they could access it. You can also share with a family plan. And of course you could do that right now with the family plan, so your family can share your passwords. And you also need to use the password manager. If you got one set up, use it whatever time it pops up and says you want to save this password, then make sure that you do. And also another advantage of password managers is that they sync to all of your devices. So many of you have lists. I've seen them, or index cards, or little notebooks, and handwritten password lists, which have a lot of things crossed out and they're hard to read. So you need to redo that, kind of start off fresh so it's legible when you're gone. You can also do a password book. So I have a couple of examples here. So these are available on Amazon and other places. So this one has a nice floral cover. You open it up and it has alphabetical markings on the edge, and then you can see that it has the website name, the email, username, password, and a place for notes. Now I don't like this one. Excuse me. Because right here it says password notebook. So that's kind of a dead giveaway. So don't get one that says on the front that it's for your passwords. Instead, get one of these stealth ones like this that looks like a little paperback novel. And you see here it says a Tom Hudson thriller, but inside it's set up the same with an alphabetical marking on the edge and a place for website, username, password, and notes. So this would be easy to overlook if someone was burglarizing your house or messing with your stuff. So this is the kind of book to get. You could also do a numbers spreadsheet. Numbers is the Apple spreadsheet that comes with all your devices, so you already own it. And the advantage of a numbers spreadsheet is that it is searchable. It can be password protected, so an extra layer of security there. And of course, you can share it with other people, even people that are on Windows machines. You can export it so that it can be read by a spreadsheet such as Excel on a Windows machine. So here's what a spreadsheet password list might look like. You could have a topic column over here. This may not be necessary, but then you would have the URL for the website, the username. And I don't recommend using this kind of a scheme where it's very similar. That would be very easy for a hacker to figure out. Then you have your actual password right here. And they've done something clever here. They've also included serial numbers. So you have like Microsoft Office, for example, and you have your serial number for your software. And 1Password also has a setup to do this. And you could put a note in Keychain Access to do the same thing. And the rest of it has a date that you either I would make this created/changed. Then that would be the date that you set up the password, and then a space for remarks. So some other examples of setting up a number spreadsheet for your password would be here. So here we have the account name, the URL or web link, your username, your password, and this one includes security question, which is certainly an excellent idea. Again, you can put those in the notes in 1Password. And then, of course, the answer to the security question. And then another way to do this is to have where you enter your password have a separate column for each character in the password. As you know, most websites require a minimum of 8 characters. So you could compose your password right here and see immediately that you have the minimum of 8 or whatever their minimum is. It's real easy here. This would be a little harder to set up, but this is a template that can be downloaded. This website is called templatelab.com, and if you need help setting it up on numbers, I would be happy to assist you. Okay, so don't forget to leave your device passwords and passcodes. That would be for your Mac, your iPhone, your iPad, and your Apple Watch. So these are very important so that your executors could get into these devices. And also have your Face ID and Touch ID. You can set up one additional face on Face ID, and you can have a total of 5 fingerprints on Touch ID. So it would be a good idea to set those up while you're alive. And another time that you might want to do that is when you're traveling. Whoever you're traveling with, have them have access to your phone, and also give them access to your passcode in case of an emergency and you're incapacitated. So another consideration is social media. You should have a social media will, which would list the social media sites that you're active on. Of course, that would have your username, which is usually your email address, and your password. And then you want to leave word on how you want the account managed. So the choices are basically close it, which means nobody can comment on it, memorialize it, which shows that it's a memorial account now, or completely deactivate it. So when you give your social media will, you want to leave instructions to download a copy of your files, because there may be pictures there that are nowhere else. So you don't want to lose those valuable memories. And then, of course, like everything else, you want to designate who will be your digital executor. So that kind of caps it for the first part of your digital legacy. If you haven't already, please type any questions or comments in. And if you would be so kind, forward the GoFor Gazette to people you know that use Apple devices so we can help more people. The GoFor Gazette comes out usually every Monday morning about 7 o'clock, but apparently it didn't get out on Monday morning. It went out this morning. So should be back on schedule next week. And if you're a Zoom user, there was a update to Zoom yesterday. So your Zoom should be now version 5.14.0. So let's see what we have here. Welcome, Bob. And Susan asked a great question. Can you have more than one legacy contact? And the answer there is yes. But again, not advisable, because they would have limited access to anything that you'd paid for through Apple. Bob remarks that it would be a good topic. For many sessions, the topic is deep and important. That's so true. That's why we're calling it Part 1. So it is something that we need to take care of now to make it easier on those that we leave behind. Not something we want to think about, but it is inevitable. So any other questions or comments? And of course, if you have any others, you can always contact me with my email address or phone number, which will appear at the end. And also, there is a Tucson Macintosh user group meeting tonight. And the link for that is in the GoFor Gazette. So if you'd like to join us tonight for a tea mug, we would welcome you. And Carolyn says, great information. I will watch again and take better notes. Okay, well, that's why we have all these up on YouTube. And our YouTube address now is youtube.com/@GoForTechnology, one word. So you can get there, and then once you're there, you can click on the little magnifying glass that's near the upper right-hand side of the page and search for 1Password or any other topic that you'd like to go back and brush up on. So thank you all. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you next week.